All right, well, welcome to the Arch Archives. I'm Adam Archambault.
I'm Rick Archambault, and let's get it going. So we got a couple questions here from producer John. He's asked us to talk about ourselves a little bit. So again, Adam just told you I'm Rick. That's Adam. We're brothers here. We run a running store called Coastal Run, and we're multi-location retailers in Maine and Maryland. And we just thought that we could come on here and talk a little bit about the business, what we do, a little bit of the behind the scenes. A lot of interesting stuff goes on in the family business.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this podcast, we are going to kind of stumble upon it until we find kind of what works well and kind of what clicks well. So hopefully we'll get some guests eventually, some different people we work with or friends, and see what they're up to. We'll have John behind the camera, and he'll kind of be helping us out and getting the things going. But yeah, just kind of share what we do in our life, and then also just talk about things that are going on. So we haven't quite figured out what the exact niche is, but we're going to find it as we go, and I think it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, a lot of it's more than just running itself. Running is definitely a huge part because that is the industry that we're primarily in, but we both have had other businesses in the past. And we're really into entrepreneurship and small business, marketing, sales, all sorts of stuff. So if it takes some roads that you aren't expecting, just bear with us here, and hopefully you'll get some entertainment out of this. Maybe a little bit of education as well. So
yeah, and I think it'll be pretty cool too to kind of see our personal growth as we go through this, and just kind of see not only the growth of Coastal Run, but kind of like you'll see things. And for you guys out there, you might be watching us and be like, "Wow, look at these idiots! They should know this stuff already." But we're gonna learn it, and I think it'll be cool to be able to just share that with the world. And so that was kind of why we wanted to start the podcast, is just kind of document growing Coastal Run and growing ourselves, and just kind of put it out there and let the world see what's going on.
Yeah. One of the things I'll mention is that, like, whatever phase you're starting to see us at, we started much worse. So, hopefully John can cue a couple of photos of like what we early on looked like, even the stores. I mean, I'm sure 5, 10, 15 years from now, we do a reflection on this, we're going to be just completely embarrassed by quality and everything. But I mean, even just looking back 3, 5 years, I can already see that, and we'll show some proof of that too. So yeah, it's just going to be good to watch the progression.
Yeah, and as far as goals for the podcast go, one of mine is just kind of sharing the struggles and also the wins, and just kind of sharing with other people out there to kind of show them that they can go out there and do it too. It's just a lot of hard work, but I think that'll be cool. And then also just sharing with you guys and getting some listeners. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I can say about that too. I'm not going to throw out any public numbers here for what we want to do.
Are you going to bring the board out?
Yeah, you know what? We'll bring the board out real quick.
A whiteboard already. I wasn't expecting this one. There. You got it. You need a hand.
Yeah, actually, this thing's a bit heavy. I'm just going to go ahead and grab off a couple of numbers from over here. So we're just looking to hit 1,000 followers on the gram. Listen, I took a bit of a hiatus from social media altogether. Probably since like 2015, so a little bit over 10 years maybe.
Wow.
I haven't posted anything. So just getting back out here, it's gonna be definitely a journey. I mean, Adam's an iPad kid, born in 2003, so he's got a bit of an advantage over me. I think anyone like right on that cusp, kind of just like they grew up technology all day, every day. But I don't know. I think they spend a bunch of money every year to make Instagram as easy as possible, so more people post. So
yeah, and so I know one of our big goals is just more than even just the numbers of people, our outputs. A lot of it is going to be input based. So a lot of our goals are surrounded with how much content we're putting out. So I think the cadence we're going to start with is 2 podcasts a week, right about 45 minutes to an hour. So twice a week you'll get to see our beautiful faces and the producer John on the camera. And so that's going to be our long form, and you can find that on YouTube. We haven't decided if we're going to Spotify or Apple Podcasts yet. We got to figure out the logistics of that. And then our other one is we really want to be pumping out these shorts. So that's another one of our big goals is I think we agreed on at least 3 shorts a day.
3 a day, 1 story a day, and there's 2 pods a week.
Yeah.
And then we're thinking about mixing in some other just behind the scenes or like when we go to the actual tour some of the stores or just day-to-day stuff. We've got a couple videos queued up on that, so we're just gonna release those from time to time as well. And just give you guys as much as we can, see what you like, see what we like, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, so I think we're pretty much. If you guys do have any questions about us, drop them in the comments. I think some answers too.
Well, yeah, that'd probably be the best thing. Is like if you guys let us know what we can talk about, that'd be great. We'd love to hear what you have to say and then respond to that stuff. So
yeah, with that, I guess we'll get into kind of some other topics here. Or if you want to start us off with kind of running and what you're doing personally with running and kind of where you're at. I mean, since we are Run Specialty, we'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, so running, let's see. My probably earliest memory of running was over the summer. I was a big Madden guy. And I would just be glued in on the TV, play video games. But my mom would make us come out and go for runs with her. She was a lifelong runner. So I remember we had like a running summer camp. You'd have to show up 5:30 in the morning. Big group of people. Everyone was older, like in their 20s, 30s, really. Mm-hmm. I was like 7.
Is that the one where you had to wade through the creek?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to tell that story quick, or?
To be quite honest with you, I think you remember a bit.
Yeah, so
I'm agreeing with you. I don't really know.
So that same run group, my mom, we get there, it's all a bunch of like 30-year-olds, 30 to probably 50-year-olds, and then me and Rick show up with our sisters. We're probably like, I think I was like 10, Rick would have been 13 at the time, and then Alex and Becca probably were in high school. And we get there, and they're like, all right, just a quick little 5K, and our mom has put us in a lot of running before, so we were like, okay, we can do the 5K, and lo and behold, we get lost, and we're on like mile like 6 or 7, and we're trucking through, and the only we put it in on my mom's old iPhone, and it's like taking us back, and then we go like another mile and a half, and then we just come across this giant creek that was probably like waist high, and so we were presented with the option of, all right, let's backtrack the 2 miles, or we can just wade across this creek. And we came back, and there was nobody at the pavilion anymore, and we were just on our own, just empty and soaking wet. And so that's probably one of my earliest moments of running too. But now, I mean, I think it's worth doing just for mental state. It's big. It's clears the mind. Just getting out there, and also just challenging yourself, I think, would be a big one. But
yeah, it's more the mental aspect for me. I always ran for sports, not for sport. But I played a lot of basketball and soccer. So it was like usually conditioning. But I never was one who would be like, yeah, let me just go out for a run.
Is it
for funsies, that's just not happening.
It's an interesting mindset change too, from like somebody telling you to run, where you're like, I always assumed it as like a punishment. I don't know about you, but like everything around sports was you run if you do something bad. So it's definitely is an interesting reframe from punishment to reward with running. I don't know. Maybe you guys out there have some tips.
I think it's still a punishment on the front end. You just get the reward on the back end. I mean, even to this day, it's like I know it's probably going to suck when I go for the run, but I do it for what you get after. And like doing that day in and day out is pretty good. Adam, you want to tell them about what's coming up in 2 weekends?
Oh yeah, 2 weekends from now. So we're going to be running the Philly Half Marathon. So we'll probably get some content out around that too, like race day, and kind of walk you guys through what we do. But so Philly Half, we got a lot of people running. So myself, Rick, our mom's going to be running it. We got my sister will be running the full. Good family friends of ours running it. So a whole bunch of us will be down in Philly running. And so Rick and myself, we don't really normally get to do a lot of runs because normally we're working at Expos, and so there's not really time to do races. So this year we finally got one on the books, and so we'll be down in Philly. November 22nd is race day, so should be good. Rick, you have a time or anything you're shooting for, or are you just getting out there?
No, I'm just getting out there. One thing you guys might assume about us is that we're huge runners. We're gonna go all the time, and like that's our thing. It's honestly not the case. Not because we don't like it necessarily. It's more that we're actually, like you said, out at these expos. So a lot of times these race groups for the half marathons or full marathons, they'll put on these expos for packet pickup. And one of our big business lines is we go to these events. We bring the van with us. We set up a whole bunch of inventory that we pull from the stores that we keep on deck. Producer John,
you throw up a couple pictures,
heads things up for events, and we're out there selling. So I mean, typically we're arriving the day before the expo, getting set up. It's a big early morning, and then go to bed, wake up again super early for race day, reset up the whole thing after we packed it up again. So it's like a really labor-intensive process, early mornings, and we typically don't actually get to go and run these races because we're doing all this prep work to get ready to serve the racers and these runners. So it's rare actually that we'll be able to run some of these races, but we have carved out some time. So I actually ran my first half marathon about a couple weeks back.
You killed it too. Really? Almost 2 hours flat. First half.
Listen, any real runners out there are gonna be like, "Who's this old man?" as putting up like large numbers, but
yeah. Well, they. I mean, the other thing we might do is try to get some content out of those events because we do get some good stories of those, and some people just coming up, showing up real unprepared. I remember one time, Annapolis. I think it was the Annapolis Running Festival where we're setting up at like 5:30 a.m. This lady, she's all of like 5'2", probably like I think she was a size 6 shoe. She showed up in her son's Kobe, I think they were Kobe 10s.
Stop.
And really? they were size 12 Kobe 10s. And she comes over, she's like, "Any chance you guys have shoes? I have to go run. I forgot my shoes back at home." And we're like, luckily we did have some that she could get, but she was just fully ready to just run in some Kobe 10s from her son. I was like, this lady's crazy.
Yeah, race day you do get some. Not to top that story, but
oh yeah, go ahead and top it.
I remember Ocean City 2 years ago, Ocean City Running Festival. They just kicked it off for the first time. Same deal, like the day after we had already done the expo and everything. Show up probably 5:15 in the morning. We're not even like unloaded out of the van yet. Guy comes up knocking on the window of our van. We're just sitting there freezing, like trying to get warm. And he's like, "Hey, I saw you guys yesterday. Like, please tell me you got some like socks that I can have." And I think this was before we were doing like the whole sock display and everything. So anyway, we didn't have anything in his size, but the employee that I was working with at the time, she took her socks off her feet, gave them to the guy, and he ended up running the race in them. He promised he'd come back. Of course, they never come back. But she basically donated her socks to this guy who ran the whole race in them. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're about, just building the community. But
there's also, you kind of I mean, as like a runner, you're like, oh, you're gonna let this guy just blister up.
Yeah,
it's like, nah, we've all been there before too. So,
you want to talk through any struggles you've had kind of with this training for the half? Anything you've noticed, or are you pretty smooth sailing through it?
I think like one of the bigger things is again the mental. Yeah. Just getting past like you're gonna be out there for 2 hours running. That doesn't sound like a lot. Again, if you guys are serious runners listening to this and you've done like your marathons or ultras or anything like that, like actually I'm kind of like the black sheep of the family in a way, and Adam maybe a little bit too. Like everybody in our family, they're big time runners, so they're out there training for like their 30-mile run, 50-mile run. They're really into the trail scene and everything. So like when we're talking about doing like these half marathons, it's like that's like an average Tuesday for most of the people in our family. Even like the people we're surrounded with, like our employees and our coworkers, everybody, that they're just big time runners. So, but for me, going out and running two hours straight, that's not really something that comes easy to me. I'm used to having like a ball to kick around or something to distract me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
hitting cardio.
Yeah, exactly. The hitting cardio is typically what I would do, but being out there for a long time is difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, I would agree with that. And sometimes even just like trying to carve out the 2 hours, that seems like sometimes the hardest. Not even thinking about the 2 hours, but like just like where in my week am I going to carve out 2 hours to go and run? Sometimes that's difficult. And then one thing that also helps a lot if you're trying to get into running is just finding some other people out there. Who you can run with, because it does make a big difference when you're just out there alone versus if you got a couple people to go and do it with, and also keep you accountable. because they are saying like, hey, we got to go do this, versus it's real easy to just listen to that little voice in the back of your head that's like, you can just keep working on your computer. You don't got to go get the run in. But
yeah, especially now that it's getting a little bit darker out, I'll catch myself like, just get, call it a night here.
Time to go to bed.
And then same thing in the morning, you wake up and it's like, it's freezing out. Also dark. Like, am I really going to do this? But I don't know.
Cool.
Got to push through it.
You want to walk them through just a quick elevator pitch on Coastal Run, since they are our main sponsor of this?
Yeah, of course. So, let's just take a moment and say we're brought to you by Coastal Run. Coastal Run is a business that... History of Coastal Run is essentially 2021. It was founded by our family right after COVID, originally in St. Michael's, Maryland. We've since expanded to more larger geographical areas, so Scarborough, Maine, and Easton, Maryland. Basically started with just my mom and myself sitting in the shop, selling shoes. I mean, the original shoe display, will pop it up, maybe 10, 12 shoes on there. Not a great selection, to be quite honest with you, but you got to start somewhere. We had all our hand-built furniture in the stores. Me and my dad got out there with...
Which is still the nicest store displays we have, are those hand-built ones.
They're heavy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, big thing is Coastal Run. We run specialty, specialize in footwear, really is our bread and butter. And then we also do have other things that runners need. And then if you see us events, we'll be mostly apparel and accessories. Yeah. What you got? What you wanna move to here?
Yeah, John, we got topics up here. What's the longest you run? Yeah, so again, I just did my first half marathon the other day. We'll see. Typically, the progression is like you do your half marathon, and then like they suck you into doing the full marathon, and then you just kind of go up from there.
Would you rather do, now that you've done your half, are you leaning towards just keeping in the half or marathon, or are you thinking maybe like an ultra? Where are you leaning to? Because the ultra running and the marathon running are very different things. So
something that excites me about ultra is that you can like stop in between.
Something
that I like. I'll go for a run even when I was training, and I like to be able to just like explore, even like go to like some nature scene.
Yeah.
Go check out some water and stop a bit. You know what I mean? Instead of just having to go straight through.
Yeah. The other cool thing about trails that I've been wanting to explore more. I don't do a lot of trail, and I want to get out there, but the trail culture seems really fun. It's like you go out and there's no shame when you walk up a lot of the hills, and then you run when you can, because the terrain's a little trickier. And it's less about time and just more about finishing. So a lot of that excites me, and I think after I do my half and then in November here, I'll probably transfer over to some trail. Hopefully, we'll see how the half goes. Maybe I'll get the bug. But so you're thinking ultra?
Yeah, or like some sort of endurance event.
Endurance.
I'm really into rucking, actually.
Yeah.
I love the rucking, so like I'm sure I haven't looked into it that much, but I'm sure
for those
some competitive rucks out there.
For those who don't know, you want to just tell them what rucking is?
Yeah, rucking is basically, I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, maybe will, or maybe no comments. We'll see. We'll see how much
maybe
traction we get on this
pull
thing.
it up. What's the definition of rucking?
I think it's a military-based thing. You're just strapping a bunch of weight on the back. But let's see what. Yeah, just a weighted backpack.
Yeah.
Low impact workout. I know it's really great for you because it like basically compresses your bones and like intensifies your bones, which I think has added benefits, especially in aging. But yeah, it really builds up your core, your back, and like your legs quite a bit. It's just a great way to start the day. Get out there with a heavy vest, and then it's like you walked around with 80, 100 pounds on your back. It's like you're kind of set.
Yeah. And then really good for the core too, right? Because it makes strengths and everything in there. I mean, I personally have only dabbled in ruck. I think I've been once or twice, and it was good. But I probably, I mean, if you're getting back out there, maybe I'll give it a try again. But so you're thinking endurance event? You were telling me about those hikes, right? The long hikes uphill.
Oh yeah, there's an event. I think it's 29029. It's like the height of Mount Everest. And basically it's on a ski hill. So you'll walk up the hill, get on the gondola, take it back down, up the hill, gondola back down. It's just on rotation. I think you have like 36 hours or 48 hours to complete it. and then you just keep going. So that's like, I'm not quite there yet, but we'll see. Like something like that would be pretty cool to even just train for. I think a lot of it is just the training for. You have like that end goal in mind. So I think that would be something to look forward to.
Yeah. Should we pivot away from running for a little bit? You all right with that? Yeah. We want to talk through one thing you're going to hear us talk about a lot on this pod is you're going to hear the word juice. Yeah, juice, John. John's a big juice guy. What juice are you rocking over there today? Anything?
Had a nice coffee earlier.
Yeah?
Just a little black coffee with some milk.
So if you haven't picked up on that, juice is just what we call any sort of caffeine around here. So your coffees, your energy drinks, even tea, and even some chocolate sometimes can be juice.
Yeah, you can juice in the chocolate.
I know Rick, I'm more consistent. I kind of just am always hitting the juice. Rick's...
Yeah, there's two types of people, at least in my opinion, all right? There's those who have been juicing for life and will continue to juice for life. And then there's those who stumble into the juice and then like realize, hey, juice maybe is not for me. But then, like, the juice draws him back.
Yeah. Rick goes through this progression where he goes on these long juice breaks. And so I think you're on one now. What are you up to? 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah, I'm going on like 3 months.
Yeah, so 3 months. And then he'll dabble back in with like a low caffeinated, like a green tea. And then a couple weeks later, you'll catch him drinking a coffee. And then a couple weeks will go by and you'll catch him with like 2 coffees throughout the day. And then finally you'll see him just drinking like an energy drink. And then about a week of the energy drinks, like, oh, that's it, that's enough for me, I'm off the juice, and he's just back to nothing. But what's your, I remember as a kid, you drank the coffee and then you got off it. What's your first experience with the juice? What is that?
We have to preface this with, like, we come from a long, long line of juice drinkers, right? So, like, I like to think that, like, I had, like, a cave, like, great cave person who was, like, out there hunted for the cocoa beans, or not cocoa.
But like some tea, some black tea.
Yeah, the black tea, mashing it up, and there's like, or I don't know, packing in their lip or something. But anyway, my grandma, she used to work at a hospital way back, and she was actually the founder of the coffee club.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
I
forgot about
so, I mean, they just literally, it's what it sounds like. They had a group of people with a sign-up list, bought a whole bunch of coffee, and then like throughout the day, ding, 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 coffee bell goes off, they all go, they run to like the room, and they all just like hitting their coffee, juicing up together. And I mean, I'd like to think that kicked it off, but everyone else in the family too. So my parents, big juice drinkers.
Yeah,
they start every morning. Like, I'm pretty sure my mom won't get out of bed until my dad brings her a juice.
They do
sounds
some
ridiculous.
They do some good coffee numbers. I think like normally like two 24 ounces in the morning, which is just wild.
Yeah, it's good numbers.
But all right, so
Adam, you're a big juice drinker too, but I basically like before school every day, Dad would get up. We had work 2 of 4, so it would be 4 coffees sitting out on the kitchen table. Running out the door, you grab a coffee, shoot that thing back.
Yeah, I remember what started it all is we'd all get in the pile in the car to drive to school, and then one of us would say, "Hey, Dad, mind if I have a sip of your coffee?" And then what would happen is everybody would take a sip and pass it around, and then by the time we got back to him, he just had no coffee. So he said, "Screw this! I'm fucking making." Sorry, excuse me. He said, "I'm flying on the fly." All right.
There it is.
I said, all right. He said, all right, this is a little bit ridiculous. I'm going to start making everybody coffee. So then from there on, we, every morning, like Rick said, we'd have a coffee. And, you know, it was pretty early. My parents actually went to our doctor and said, hey, you think, does it actually stunt their growth? Well, I know I drank a little bit more. I ended up at like 6'3". I know Rick got off for a little bit. He ended up at 6'6". So I don't know. You do the math on that, but. You notice any benefits from the coffee, or all downside?
Yeah, I operate twice as fast, twice as efficient.
And then, so since you do like the tolerance breaks, like how long is it typically before you? What's the pushing point for you? Where you're like, all right, I got to get off this.
Well, typically it starts with like a bad night's sleep. As you said, it'll just push back to larger and larger quantities, and then later in the day, it's where I'm drinking at like 6 or 7 p.m. And then I'll just be like, you know what, that's it. And I'll
6, 7.
I'm not 6'7" for the listeners. Not without my Hokas, sponsored by Coastal Run. No.
So have you? So we both just got whoops. Have you?
No,
you
I haven't been on the caffeine.
Yeah, I guess that's
No, but I will be getting on here soon. It's been about 3 months, like you said, and getting into like the winter months, it's easier to jumpstart the day with some caffeine. But typically, I'll get like a real bad headache, and then like as soon as I stop, and then that lasts for like a week or two, and then like after that, it's actually fine once the cravings go away. But that first juice back is like that's next level. That's why it's worth it. It's take the break and it's like starting fresh again.
Yeah.
You remember your first go?
I think I've had too many at this point. I might need another smoking like a true caffeeholic over here. I don't know. I mean, you think I've been going on once 2025. I probably had my first one over 10 years ago. So every single day I've probably had over 4,000 cups of coffee. Like, I don't know. It's hard to remember. They all start to run together.
There's this saying that we use where it's like, it was introduced to me about beer because I used to drink beer. And now you can apply it to coffee too. But it's
apply
like,
it to anything.
Yeah, like Adam's sitting there and like he's already had 3 or 4 cups. And he's like, oh no, like I can't leave this, or like running out the door or something, or like we're at a restaurant. He's like, I can't waste this coffee. It's like, you just got to let it go. And I'll say, there'll always be another cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Same, there'll always be another beer. Just let it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like when you're in that addictive mindset, it's hard to walk away from the coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely weaned back in the past like 6 months. I used to get pretty aggressive. Now I swapped a lot of like, I used to do like 2 in the morning and then 1 in the afternoon. I've kind of just tried to do 1 in the morning and then do like a herbal tea in the afternoon to kind of replace, so I still get that nice hot drink.
Yeah. Now that like the listeners here, like these asshats have been talking about coffee for the last like 15 minutes, I think we should probably move on. Thanks for sticking with it if you have. If not, just fast forward to topic number 4.
To minute 27. We'll move it on.
The Bay Bridge cancellation. So this was last weekend. So the Bay Bridge run is one of the bigger runs that we participate in as a vendor.
John, can you flash up a picture of the bridge on the video?
20,000 racers. From those of you who are from Maryland, the Bay Bridge is like this big bridge that connects the western shore and the eastern shore with the bay in the middle, Chesapeake Bay in the middle. Bridge runs across from Kent Island over to Annapolis.
Not a small bridge either. Like there's people whose whole business model is that they just drive other people's car across the bridge. So what they'll do is John, you don't gotta look it up.
What is it?
It's 4.2 miles. 4.35. I did it with my odometer so that way I could see how long it is. But there's people, their whole business model is they'll, in the morning, just start driving other people in their own car across the bridge because people are so terrified of it. And so, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so it's this big bridge that's just existing there. Our friends over at Corrigan Sports, they decided they wanted to put on a event where they go over the bridge that people will actually run over. I know that they've been doing it for some time. But basically, that's all it is. I mean, everyone lines up, they fire the gun, and then everybody runs over the Bay Bridge. And on the other side, there's a big after party. So day before, there's an expo, and we were able to participate in that. Unfortunately, this year, the state police basically shut it down because of some rain. They didn't want people going over the bridge in their cars. So just for clarification, when we say the Bay Bridge, it's actually two bridges together, but I don't know, it's just the Bay Bridge.
Yeah, so there's a 3-lane bridge and a 2-lane bridge. So for the run, the runners run over the
western shore to eastern shore, 2-laner, and then they keep the traffic open on the 3-laner.
So
2 and 1 going back and forth.
Because there was some rain, they were worried about two-way traffic with rain, which is a newer thing they're worried about, which, it never can get mad about safety. But, I mean, it did stink for a lot of runners because people came from far. Like one of our good family friends, she came in from Colorado just for the race, and then she came all the way. I mean, she still had a good time. We went out and did our 6 miles on race day, but still not quite the same when you don't actually get to run over the bridge. But so do you think, I know Big RC, Big Ryan Corrigan, it'd be a better question for him, but I mean, think this affects them at all next year? People still coming back?
No, I mean, Corrigan they got their stuff. They run a good business over there. They'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, and they are a really good race group too. So if you are looking for any races, Corrigan Sports,
Yeah, I think they're probably the premier race group.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I might be a little bit biased, just because we work with them so much. But like, I would venture to say, if not the best on the East Coast, then like potentially one of the better ones in the entire country.
The interesting thing is, like, even a lot of the big ones, like Philly Half, for example, it's not put on by a race group. It's put on by a city or somebody who doesn't specialize in it. And what they've done is they've created this really cool niche where they carve out and just create really, really good races, really good expos, really good post parties, just a lot of fun. Environment's always really good. They have live bands afterwards. So
I want to take a moment to talk about that, because a lot of people think the racing culture is all about health and wellness and fitness, but it's like this weird dichotomy.
The
those of you who
5Ks.
are runners out here, you'll know this. Like, people go to these races, and then immediately afterwards, like 8 a.m., you just ran 3 miles. But then they're just like sipping on the tall boys.
Yeah, the funniest
3,
one.
4, 5 tall boys later.
Yeah, the funniest one are always the people who finish the 5Ks, because the 5Ks is the shortest distance, and then also it's always the earliest race too. So you'll see these people just like, I know Baltimore, the race, I saw people before 8 a.m. just sipping on like 2 or 3, I think they were high noons
Yeah,
or
and
something.
the best are like the spectators. So,
Yeah.
let's say Adam's running and like his woman's just watching him run. Like, maybe she'd be out there just like drinking. She wouldn't do that, but like that's kind of the idea. Like, these spectators just like they use it as an excuse to come and just drink.
it's a
up
big
at,
bar-
like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big party, and they're all like, "Oh, live music! I'm gonna have a beer." But it is interesting. But I mean, so John has up here how to affect Coastal Run. I mean, you want to talk to that, the cancellation of Bay Bridge?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we exist by going to these events and selling through merchandise. That's a big part of our business. So it's like, we were still able to get like the Expo day in. Usually we typically see like a 50-50 split between the sales on the first day and sales on the second day. So it got chopped in half, but there will be another Bay Bridge run, so we're not too worried. We got a couple others in the pipeline. We've got Richmond coming up.
No.
Oh, excuse me, not Richmond.
Richmond. Richmond.
We can talk about that too. I think that's the next topic up here, actually.
That flowed nicely. Good
Great
job.
segue.
Good job,
Great
John.
segue, yeah, thanks. Yeah, so basically, we try to queue up where we're going to be.
We'll grab
at
some
least
hot water. You wanted?
Yeah, I'll do a little more. At least a month in advance. So we've got like a running spreadsheet. But sometimes we'll come across like really good opportunities last minute. So Richmond was one of those. And I think it was 20,000 racers. There's like a weird political aspect to some of these races where you've got like the big players, like the big national chains they get priority spots with some of these groups. So they can make a phone call and kind of basically get premier access to the spaces, and it's just, there's like some weird factors that play a role. Anyway, long story short, we're no longer going to be at that one.
And then
but we pivoted and found a pretty good one.
we luckily we have a really good relationship with a race group. Actually, weirdly enough, they're owned by USA Today, which is kind of interesting. Not Corrigan Sports, it's a separate one. It's called Ventures Endurance, and they do a really good group of runs called the Hot Chocolate Runs, which are funny in their own respect. We'll get there, but luckily we reached out to them, and they were able to squeeze us in last minute to one up in where in Ohio? Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
So we got John and Nick going up to Columbus, Ohio for about a 10,000 person race. Head out on Friday. They'll sell Saturday and come back. So it should be good. The hot chocolate runs are funny though, because it's really similar to how the other runs, people just have a bunch of beer. People just drink a ton of hot chocolate. They eat a bunch of marshmallows. For the Expo, for example, you come in and you get a little cup and you just walk around and just get unlimited hot chocolate. You get like s'mores covered in chocolate, cups of M&Ms, cups of Hershey Kisses, and you just kind of people just they just eat, and it's a fun environment though, because the people there, most of them are newer to running and they sign up because it's a fun run, and there's other stuff going on, and so good environment. People want to talk to you and get to know what's going on. But so we'll be up there. If you're any of you listeners out there in Columbus, Ohio, come stop by. I don't think it's possible, or likely, but
That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, Why do you, John has up here, why might this event be better? I spoke to this earlier in the week. Do you think this one is a better opportunity than Richmond, or?
Well, I know for a fact that the Expos inside. So one of the big things that we run into is weather. It's actually, in just retail in general, weather is a big factor. So just depending on whether it's raining and people just want to stay inside versus really sunny and bright out and people are going to be out and shopping. And then it could just flip like that. Like then maybe it's rainy and people are like, oh yeah, well, there's nothing to do. Let me go shopping. Versus like it's bright and sunny. They just want to be outside away from the store. So it does play a role, but especially for events, the indoor expos are typically a bit nicer because you don't have to worry about the rain maybe coming and ruining your inventory. So I think 10,000 racers will be good. This is a 10K, I think. Between like the different segments of how far they're running, the buying behavior is a bit different as well. So like 5Ks versus like a marathon, it's completely different set of people. The avatar is completely different. They're going to be buying different stuff. They're going to have different spending behavior, different incomes.
Also, the product offering skews very differently. So, for example, your 5K and 10K runners are like I said, most of them are still getting into running. So they kind of are looking for a lot more guidance on products. They're looking for you to tell them, hey, this is a really good product if you are doing X, Y, Z, not if you're doing this. Once you start getting to that half marathon customer, they start to be a little bit more dialed with their gear. They kind of know what they want. They're not going to change their outfit on race day because they know the pair of pants that work for them.
Nutrition, most likely they've already brought with them.
Versus your 10K, 5K, they're a little bit more, they're okay saying, hey, I don't really own any nice running pants. You guys are selling them. I'll pick these up and run in them tomorrow because they'll be great. I don't own a running belt. Which one do you recommend for what I'm doing? So you can kind of be a little bit more personable. And I think that's kind of where we set ourselves apart at a lot of these things, just talking with the customers versus just putting it all out and just...
Yeah, I mean, that progression you talked about is big too, that we were talking about earlier, because not a lot of people, I mean, some, but not everyone's going to just immediately wake up one day and say, I'm going to go run a marathon, right? Yeah. They're usually, whether it's training for it or not, they're going to just say, okay, maybe I'll run the marathon, but I'm going to go up to it with the 5 to 10 half. So it's like, that half is actually a really nice demographic as well, because a lot of those people, that's like the first big race they've ever done. They want to reward themselves. Their family members want to reward them. And they're like, okay, I like this. I'm taking it a little bit more serious. They see all the benefits that it has to their health and like the discipline, everything in their life's just improved, right? So they're like, okay, I can invest in myself a bit. But going back to what Adam said is like, yeah, being able to actually talk about it and help them, tell them what we've used, tell them what our family members use, tell them what our best customers use. That's the biggest thing. A lot of these people you'll see at the events just come, they'll set up and they'll just what we call a clerk, where you're just basically sitting there running the reg, not interacting with the customers. And I think that does make a big difference. So it's really cool. One of the coolest things we'll see is people will come up to us and we'll have seen them the weekend before, the weekend before that, 3 weekends before that, for the last 2-3 years. You know what I mean? So it's like these are repeat people who might not be from Maryland, they might not be from Pennsylvania, but they're from, I don't know.
I know one off the top of my head. She's from Western Virginia, and she comes to we see her at every event with her son. Her son's about 10, and she comes and she always buys something from us now just because she likes us and wants to support us, so that's cool. But it is cool. It's like we see her probably 2 times a year once a year, every like 2 to 3 times, and so it's funny. It's like every year her son grows a little bit, and you're like, oh, I remember you, and you get to see them, so that's pretty cool.
And I want to tell you a quick story.
Yeah, go for it.
So the coolest customer that I've run into, actually, they could be listening. They're all you are cool. And like, there's probably a couple stores they go into, but one that's just top of mind right now. There's this man and his girlfriend, and probably 4 years ago was our first Bay Bridge. Would it be 4 years ago?
Yeah,
it was our first Bay Bridge run.
We
right?
did like nothing.
So we show up, and John pop up a picture of it, but we show up with this table, this tiny little 8-foot table, maybe not even. We've got a couple hats, a couple hand-away towels, some stickers and magnets, right? Just like really, really basic, like do it at home setup, right? Fast forward, we see him the next year. We've now growing our space a little bit. Still nothing crazy. Next year, grow it a little bit more.
fast forward this year, we're growing even more. And it's really cool because they were like there to kind of see us as we're growing, but I've also been following him and his progression with running. So he went from 5K, I presume, to now he actually just completed his first full marathon.
Ocean City
The other day. Really, really cool. So shout out to him. I hope he gets to see this.
And we
they're
also
awesome people, and yeah, it's just really cool to see.
It's also cool because we like introduced him to some shoes, and I don't believe he lives that close to us, to our stores.
They're not too far. But.
Yeah, but we always see him, and he comes in at least once every 6 months to the stores too.
More than that, yeah.
Yeah, and picks out his shoes, and we've introduced him to a brand called Ultra, and so he always has his Ultra. I think he's in the Experience Flow too now, but it's cool to see that like he was like completely new to it, and he kind of took to us, and so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and just that reminder, right?
Yeah. All right, well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, John, we're coming up on time here. People are probably getting pretty pissed off if there's even any followers or listeners right now. I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen here. Again, the format of this is going to continue to improve and alter over time. But generally, this is the kind of stuff we might be talking about. Just a reminder, we do run Coastal Run. That's our day job. Coastal Run has an online store, coastalrunco.com. If you guys want to support, that would be awesome. They're technically our first official sponsor. Adam, anything from you?
Yeah, I think this podcast today is Wednesday. This podcast should be out at the very latest early next week, and then from there we're going to start 2 podcasts a week. So we should be getting stuff out, and then follow. What's the name of our Instagram now? Arch Bros. Is that what we?
Yeah, the Arch Bros.
The Arch Bros. Follow that, and then John, what's your producer Graham?
VTV.
VTV. The VTV.
What's the exact handle? If you type it, I'll read it out.
The.v.tv.
Okay.
All right.
So give him a follow to kind of see some behind the scenes stuff too of him producing it. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. If you want to support us, subscribe, and I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Nice.